Hello and welcome. I'm outside of Baja, Arizona on BLM land camping with my Rossmonster Baja. And I think it's a good time and opportunity to introduce you in more detail to the vehicle. I know you've seen probably a few pictures on Instagram and on YouTube and other YouTube video tours of the Rossmonster Baja. But this one is mine. It's custom built for me. I made some minor modifications already. So I think let's just dive into it and talk about first the outside and the truck itself, and then we'll go and take a look on the inside. I'm standing here on the tail end of the truck. You can see that I have two storage boxes here and here. Onto this storage box I mounted a Rotopacked jerry can for gasoline. That's a 4-gallon pack, and it's, I think, the perfect place for it. It's out of the way. It's rock solid and not moving at all, so that's very helpful should I run out of gasoline, or if I use a generator that I have gasoline for the generator. Next to it is my trash bag. That is the same model I had on my Supertramp camper. I'm not super happy yet with how I mounted it. I'm pretty sure there are better ways of doing it, but I think this is a very low priority for now. This actually just works fine. Next to it here I have a can crusher that I installed, and one thing I realized is, like, I drink like LaCroix, so flavored sparkling water, and yeah, with the cans, I can just step on the cans and make them small, but I think with a can crusher it's a little better. It's also not scaring the dog as much because it makes a lot of noise when I step on a can to flatten it, and Shelby here is always a little nervous when it comes to noise. So can crusher installed, works great. I get like 4 cans, and they're still smaller than one full, not crushed can, so that's really good. Then I mentioned the 2 storage boxes. They're identical in a certain way, but then they're not. So I put some shelving in here, nothing fancy, and I drove a washboard road yesterday, so stuff still is hanging in there, but you can see I put a shelf in the middle here. Works great, allows me to really optimize the space usage. I have a lot of space left, so again, low priority, but I'm pretty sure I will spend some more time reorganizing the storage box here in the rear. So on this side I have tools and water hose and some other, I want to say, minor supplies for living on the road. On the passenger side storage box, it looks different. So I put a shelf fairly down here, and I have my leveling blocks underneath there. So, and the reason is the leveling blocks are dirty. I don't want my stuff to be dirty, and so I decided I put all the leveling blocks underneath, put the shelf on top of it. The dirt, if there's any dirt, can fall down the leveling blocks. I really don't care, but other than that, it helps me to optimize the space. So here are my camping chairs, or actually just one. The other one is on the outside. My propane fireplace and a propane gas tank. Up here I just have an extension cord, a leaf blower that helps me to clean out the campsites when I get there. So if there's a lot of dust, leaves, or whatever else, I can clean up. I have my battery starter cable in here and a battery charger as well. So it's there's still some room in here. When I travel, Shelby's outside the dog bed will be in here as well. Other than that, it's like I'm very happy with these shelves, and they're really dirt simple, I want to say, and holding up to the task. So I don't want to say this is a prototype. I'm pretty sure this can be done better, but for now it really seems to do the trick. Oh yeah, side note, I used my existing floor mats on this shelf here and in the other storage box to protect the stuff that is sitting in there. So yesterday I drove a really bad washboard road or trail here in the desert, and I'm pretty sure the impact is felt everywhere, and the material, my tools and everything else will last just a little bit longer with that extra little cushioning underneath. So that all looks good. All right, let's look underneath the storage boxes. So here's the bumper that Rossmonster installed and custom made for the Baja. I have 2 Pathfinder lights in here. They provide really a great light output in the darkness when I reverse or when I have to see something at camp. So I'm very happy with those. I can turn those on from the upfitter switches inside the cab. The next thing here in the rear is the Wolfbox 930 rear view mirror cam. So this is tied to my rear view mirror. Since I cannot look out in the back, the mirror is a monitor, and with this camera I can see exactly what's happening behind me. And you might wonder, okay, what happened to the actual tailgate rear or backup camera? I have that too. So Rossmonster integrated that into the bumper, so I can see when I back up from underneath and B from above. So it makes it really easy to navigate, not just in the darkness, but just having visibility of what's happening around me. The other thing that you might have noticed is my backup parking sensors are integrated into the bumper as well. They work great. They actually seem to work with the storage boxes, so that the storage boxes are not impacting the parking sensors. So it seems really reliable, but I have to think I have several feet hanging out above the rear bumper. So I'm still getting used to the distance and measurements. That will take a while, but overall it works as advertised. The next thing that you see here is outlet chuck for my air compressor. I have two of those, one here and one in the front. And the air compressor is actually sitting behind those taillights here underneath the truck, not visible. It allows me to air my tires up after airing down, or use a hose and just spray the dust off the vehicle, which can happen quite a bit. There's another outlet here, and this is from my AquaHot heating and hot water system. It's a hydronic system. It provides instant hot water once the system is up and running. It is tied to my gasoline tank. Can pretty much run the tank down to about 25% before the AquaHot would stop consuming gasoline for safety reasons, so that you might run out of heat, but you will not run out of gasoline, and you can get out of Dodge should you be far away from civilization. So there's a safety buffer in there. But so far the system has worked great. I'm very happy with it. I'm still considering getting a second heating system. Not necessarily that I'm concerned that the AquaHot will not be up to the task. There is a limit. I mean, this is not a house. This doesn't have the greatest R value in insulation. And I'm planning to go winter camping. And so a second heating system will potentially come in very handy. The other reason is that Shelby, my dog, spends a lot of time inside the cab of the truck. I have a pass-through from the camper into the truck cab, and so I leave the pass-through open. I don't lock it up at night, and the truck cab is not as well insulated, and so it's very cold. So I'm thinking of getting a second heating system installed that potentially sits inside the truck, but with a vent inside the truck cab and a vent pointing at the camper, really for redundancy and to make it overall more comfortable. I'm also thinking of getting insulated window shades for the truck, for all windows, for all 5 windows that it has, so that I'm not losing as much heat through the glass or cold through the glass when Shelby is sleeping in there. So that's the rear of the Rossmonster Baja. I'm sitting out here in the shade, and speaking of shade, let's go to the passenger side. You can see I have an awning. This is a Fiamma awning. It's a manual crank, and it works great. I had it outside in the wind. I want to say, if you bring it in a little bit and don't have it fully extended like I have it right now, even in some, I don't want to say stronger winds, but stronger winds, I was still able to use it. But I also put weight down at the bottom. You can put stakes in. I also have like a 20-pound kettlebell here, and I will buy another one. So I actually connected the kettlebell to the leg and had rocks connected to the other one. And the awning was rock solid. I mean, it was moving, but it was also not fully extended. So it works great. It provides shade. It keeps the truck cool. Really helps on a hot day like today. I mean, this is November 11th, and it's about 82, 83 degrees outside. So having that awning with the grayish color really helps. I'm glad I don't have one that is black. So this one is reflecting a little bit, but really helping with keeping the temperature inside the truck under control. I do have air conditioning, but it is not turned on today. So next, since we just came around the corner, you can see here I have a cable hanging out. So this cable, for one, this is a solar connector. This cable leads to the front where I have my external solar panels deployed right now. It is November. The sun is lower, and solar production is not as efficient as it could be. So with the solar panel deployed, it really helps to substitute, I want to say, missing sun. So I have 800 watts of solar up on the roof. This is a 220 watt panel. It is pretty much all day between 170 and 200 watts of solar that it's producing. So very happy with that. And I have 3 ports to connect external solar panels. So I could actually deploy 2 more. I have 1 more at home. We'll see. I might replace this one with, I want to say, a better one. But for now, this will do the trick. And yeah, having that connectivity available really makes it easy. It's just it takes like 1 minute to get the solar panel out and plug it in. Good to go. There's Shelby. She is hot. She's just roaming around. She's a little concerned. There's a lot of shooting going on here in the desert. So people just literally shooting debris. And so she is a little bit nervous, but overall, she's such a trooper. She's doing okay. All right, next here on the side, I have 2 Maxtrax recovery boards. This is also a fold-down table, but before I fold it down, let me just point out the little locks here. Probably easy to break if you have tools, but hopefully preventing the casual thief or casual theft of losing those boards. They are not cheap. They're like $250, $300. I don't know, but when you travel alone and you get stuck, you want to have recovery tools available. So I have a shovel with me, but I also have the recovery boards. And here you can see now I folded down the recovery boards and I have a nice flat surface here. It is slightly angled up, so it's not completely level, but that's okay. I cooked already out here. I need to do something about the wall here. So there's some grease that hit the outside of the camper. And I'm probably, once I have this cleaned up, I'm putting some paint protection film there just to really keep the camper shell from, I don't want to say being damaged, but becoming a mess. So with a paint protection film, hopefully it's easier to wipe off, or I replace the film every couple of months. It shouldn't be a big deal. So let's put that back up. And this is heavy stuff. So. All right, next is the 2-piece door. Rossmonster started last year in November. The first truck came off the assembly with a 2-piece door. So you can see here, it's the smaller door, and then there's an upper portion that folds up. And that really makes it convenient to get in. I'm prone to bump my head. And with this 2-piece door, it's definitely easier to get in and out without bumping my head. Plus the other nice thing is it lets more air in. Then the other nice thing is, right now I have the bug screen deployed so that no bugs are coming into the camper. I can simply close the door. And now you can see that I still have an opening there, and I could leave this open overnight. So let's say I'm in a hot area. I mean, here it got cold overnight. It's November. The desert gets cold, but let's say during a summer night, I can just lock the bottom part of the door and leave the upper part open and have additional airflow inside the truck camper. Makes it really convenient. So 2 thumbs up for this 2-piece door. Great job by Rossmonster. Very happy with this. The door attaches with a magnet. Overall, it works great, but I had it in a really strong wind day that the wind pushed the door open. So my recommendation to Rossmonster might be to just use a slightly stronger magnet, but that's a minor thing. The other thing to be aware of, you can see that the door is overhanging with the truck cab door for the rear passenger side. You would have to close the truck camper first if you want to open that seat. You see the handle for cranking down the awning. I made a custom mount for that inside. There wasn't anything, but I will show you when we go inside. So let's walk around here. Nothing else super special up to here. Next thing I have are my Baja Design LP4 ditch lights. They put out an insane amount of light, and in the darkness it is fantastic. Amber helps with driving through dusty or foggy areas, and with less light reflections. I love those lights. I installed those before I dropped off the truck at Rossmonster before they installed the camper. So is it time to talk about suspension? Now we'll do this on the other side. So let's move on to the front. So I have the bug shield here to protect the front of the hood from rocks and bugs. Then I have the Buckstop Outback bumper. This is the aluminum version. It looks pretty beefy. It is pretty strong. Probably not as strong as steel if you would hit another vehicle. But this is really protection for me to protect the truck in case I hit some wildlife. Driving in the darkness or during the day, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you don't have a choice. You hit something. And this is really, I want to say, insurance for me to protect the truck from any impact should I hit something bigger out on the road. Down here is a worn 16,500 pound winch. Again, I travel solo. There's usually not many people around. If I get stuck, I want to have something that helps me to potentially get free or potentially help other people. So this winch hopefully never has to be used, but I'm prepared. Well, maybe here in the desert, you can see there's not much where I could attach the winch to. Yeah, that little bush or tree, whatever it is over there, will not hold if I wanted to pull myself out. So you need different type of pieces of recovery gear. I have tow straps, I have bungee ropes or kinetic ropes as well. So different ways to get out. The next thing you see in the bumper here is the fog lights. I have the PIA. Pia, I have no idea how to pronounce it. Fog lights, they also put an insane amount of light out. They look, I want to say, fairly mean when you turn those on. Work great. Ignore that the EcoFlow cover for the solar panel is sitting there right now. I have not been driving since yesterday, and so it's just parked there with the solar panel being deployed, producing electricity for me. All right, let's come to the driver's side, and let's start with the ditch light. Again, here's another LP4. These two are slightly angled outside just to have a better overall perspection driving with more light. Then the next thing that is custom on this truck is these fender flares, or are these fender flares. I have them both installed on the left and right side of the truck. I had those custom painted, matching the paint of the truck. The truck came without, and I think this just looks a little better. And it also helps with like when the wheels stick out a little bit, just to cover it a little more. Next thing then, if we look in here, you see the King shocks, and those are part of the Charlie pin-top suspension. I had the Charlie pin-top suspension in my previous rig. I was very happy with the suspension. It is great for off-roading. It's great even for carrying the weight that I have here. Works great. And yeah, so far I think that this custom, or that this Charlie pin-top suspension is actually better tuned for this vehicle compared to my previous one. I know with the leaf springs that I have in the rear, and I will show you those in a moment, that Charlie or CJC, the main distributor, is not selling those without inquiring about the load, and the shocks in the rear will be custom tuned for the weight. Then I'm riding on a 705 heavy-duty Method race wheels. Those are 18-inch wheels, and then they're wrapped by a 37-inch Toyo Open Country RT Trail tire. So quite beefy pattern. I hope this really helps me to get through everything. Previously I had the Falcon Wild Peak and the AT3s. They were great. They're probably a little better in snow compared to the Toyos, but we'll have to see. I wanted a mix because I'm going into different environments, and I wasn't sure if the Falcon Wild Peak were really up for the task. Let's move to the rear. So same wheel and tire combination, but let's look between the tire, or let's go underneath here. You can see the leaf springs. So that's a custom leaf spring pack for trucks carrying 3,500 pounds or more permanently. If you don't carry it permanently, you don't want those because it can be a pretty rough ride, but it is a great suspension. I'm really happy so far. What I'm looking for right now, here it is. You see the shock. So that shock is apparently custom tuned for to work in combination with these leaf springs. And you can see I've been through some mud already. Didn't do a good job cleaning that up, but so be it. All right, next item here is I have the Charlie trophy hitch installed. When you have 37-inch large tires, they will not fit into the factory mount for your spare tire. So with the Charlie pin-top suspension, I can bypass that problem because it's made for tires, I think, up to 38-inch. I have 37s. We're good here. Nothing to worry about. It's a beefy hitch, and it lowers the ground clearance a little bit. So you can see that here. It's actually going quite low. Not ideal. I was hoping to bypass it. We tried to mount the spare tire deflated. Since I have an air compressor, I could always inflate it when needed. But even deflated, the tire was just not going in there. And I didn't want to have a situation where I'm not able to get the tire back in, as an example, should I have a flat or whatever else is happening. So that's... unfortunate. It was an expensive item to add, about $3,500. It's, I want to say, rounding up or rounding out really everything that you need to have a vehicle that can go off-road, that can go to places many other vehicles cannot go to. So next here on the driver's side, this is my outdoor shower. I have a matching hose connector inside, hot and cold here. I haven't used this yet. I'm probably too close to people here, so there are some houses around. I mean, not really close, but I mean, you can see there's nothing, but you see the power lines going here. So there are some houses over there, and a few cars have driven by. So I'm probably not taking an outside shower here, but I have a shower inside. This one here is the shore power hookup, 30 amp. So I can connect it on a campground. I connect it at home if I wanted to recharge the batteries, or I could run heating on shore power as well, but meaning that goes for the batteries, and the shore power replenishes the batteries. This is the fresh water fill, nicely separated from the tank, which is down here, making sure that only water goes in there. I'm trying to filter it even at home when I put it in, just to keep the tank as clean as possible, but no concerns yet. So then here, let's start talking about the windows. You can see I have awning style windows all around. This is also fairly new that Rossmonster started doing. I think it was in late spring, early summer, when the new Bajas that came off the assembly came with these dual pane windows. They're great insulated. I like the awning style. There's always a nice breeze coming in. Even if it would be raining, I can use those. Where I'm not too sure about yet is if you look inside here, hopefully it comes over on camera, but there's a bug screen. The bugs can actually hit the bug screen, of course, and then seem to be able to go into the little nooks and crannies in here. And so I had a couple of bees in, even though I know they did not came through the camper door. So I think I saw one actually crawling in, and then I had one inside the camper. It's not a big deal. I'm trying to stay on top of that, but I'll probably do something there and just see how things happen. This one here is also an awning style window. This is a different company. This window is not tinted. The upper ones are tinted, makes it really nice. But again, they're all insulated like a good blind. When you close the blind, you really feel the difference it makes in winter too. I mean, even though those are dual panel windows, but yeah, this is not comparable with a house that is much better insulated. This window here in the rear, you can see the dirt line. So this is only partially covered when you drive. Right now it's pretty dusty, but yeah, that's the only drawback with this larger window here in the rear, but I love that window. My desk is right there. I really enjoy sitting there and having that window here. I can look outside. So that's the outside tour of my Rossmonster Baja. I'm pretty sure I forgot something. I will point it out with text on the video, but I would say this is it for this video. The next video will be the inside tour, and then I will also show you a couple more customizations that I have made and point out some details that are different from other Bajas that you potentially have seen in person or on YouTube. But it's a really cool rig. I'm totally in love with it, and I camped 24 times with it, and I just picked this up on September 30th. I'm definitely using it. It has some pinstripes already, so mission accomplished, I would say. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. And then I would say I see you next time in my next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.